what's up? So in the recent video that we did, we talked about the possibility of some Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 news coming up in the near future. I was pretty confident we weren't going to get anything at Gamescom. No surprise, we didn't get anything at Gamescom. And I then speculated we'd probably be looking at Tokyo Game Show or the Game Awards. However, a new possibility has popped up. So, like the video, subscribe for future content, but let's just jump into this real quick. It's only going to be a short one.
That's what she said!
Anyway, let's get on with it. So, like I said, Gamescom was a bust. I fully expected Gamescom to be a bust. But we did get that little bit of information-ish from Motomo Toriyama, who's one of the co-directors of Ever Crisis, about 8 months ago, where he said we might even get news about Remake Part 3 around the 2nd anniversary of Ever Crisis. So that's where all this speculation's kind of come from at the minute. And we have just had it announced that 2 days before the 2nd anniversary of Ever Crisis, on the 5th of September, there will be an Ever Crisis live stream. Now, this was announced by the Ever Crisis Twitter account, the Japanese one. It's not come up on the English one, I'm going to guess because the broadcast is going to be for the Japanese audience, but you know we're going to be getting the info from it, so don't worry about that. And it's been described as an event where they'll deliver a packed lineup of 2nd anniversary information, future update details, and more. So, you know, that obviously sets the alarm bells ringing that you never know. We might get some Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 news, even if it is just a name or something like that. I was thinking Tokyo Game Show, but this would potentially be a pretty solid moment for them to do it, because there's already going to be a lot of Final Fantasy VII fans watching this event, so you'll get the news to the audience directly. But not only that, if you do announce something like that at an Ever Crisis event, it's going to draw the eye of a lot of people who maybe don't interact with Ever Crisis over towards Ever Crisis. Ever Crisis. I feel like I've said Ever Crisis a lot. I'm going to keep doing it. It's going to happen. But yeah, it feels like this is a possibility. I wouldn't get overly excited about it and be like, oh my god, it's going to happen. But I think it is a possibility. Now, the stream is already up and ready to go on YouTube, and if you go into the description, there's a bit of text that you can grab there, slap it into the old Google Translate, because we obviously don't fucking speak Japanese. And, you know, it gives you pretty much the same information as previously, except we see that Tetsuya Nomura is going to be there as a voice from heaven, meaning he's obviously not going to be there, it's just going to be him, I don't know, probably sat just off camera talking. No, we'll probably be somewhere else. But the fact that Nomura's there gives me a little bit of hope that maybe he's going to be the one that drops some Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 news. I don't know. Like I say, it's not something that I'd get massively excited about. It may still be a bit too soon. It is possible that it's a bit too soon. But if we believe in Toriyama when he said, you know, we might get some Part 3 news around the 2nd anniversary, this would potentially be the perfect opportunity to do it, because like I say, we get the news directly to Final Fantasy VII fans who are interacting with Ever Crisis, and it draws eyes to Ever Crisis because, you know, you've just announced something about Remake Part 3 at an Ever Crisis event. People are going to be looking in that general direction, so it'd be a win-win for Square Enix, let's just put it that way. They would benefit just generally from it. And thematically it feels like it'd fit. Obviously parts of the first chapter of The First Soldier, which is the new stuff that we've got in Ever Crisis. If you're not caught up on The First Soldier, go and have a look on the channel. I have got numerous videos breaking down every episode, every chapter. So, you know, I've got you. I've got you back. You don't have to play it if you don't want to. But part 1 of The First Soldier did end up working its way into the narrative of Rebirth in the form of Glenn. So it would not surprise me if what's happening in episode 2 and a potential episode 3, depending on how fast they go, that would potentially end up working its way into Remake Part 3. It'll all tie in. That's what it feels like. And like, I've got this vibe that what we might be playing through in the remake project is like a manifestation of what happens in Livestream White and Black. I'm trying to work on a video for it. It's taking me a bit of time to put it together. But if that's the case, you know, you've got a Sephiroth that's trying to maintain the core of himself and regain some of his memories potentially. And that would tie in with Sephiroth reliving his memories in Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier. Especially if you think back to that shot of Sephiroth at the edge of creation that we got at the end of episode 1 of The First Soldier. You know? It adds up a little bit. It adds up a little bit, but the point I'm trying to make is that, you know, thematically it would make sense to announce something Remake Part 3 at an Ever Crisis event. That just works. So, yeah, I'm a little bit hopeful. I'm not mega hopeful, but I am a little bit hopeful that it's something that we might get. I'm going to be checking out the event no matter what, and I will be here with the updates if and when we get them. And speaking of Ever Crisis and The First Soldier specifically, we may potentially get some more chapters, you know? Juicy chapters. We'll get more of that Masamune story that we're getting, the origin story of the Masamune blade and how Sephiroth came into contact with it and into ownership of it. So very much looking forward to that. Hopefully we get the last few chapters of that announced now, because if they crack on and finish that story off this year, we get a third episode before Remake Part 3 comes out. So yeah, quite hopeful for that. Is there anything else to talk about? I don't think there's anything else to talk about. I think we've covered everything potentially. The only other thing I'd be interested in is what other stories we're going to get soon, because at the minute we've still only had Final Fantasy VII and Crisis Core in Ever Crisis, other than The First Soldier of course, and we're waiting on Before Crisis. That's a big one. Like, I will play that. I've ignored FF7 and Crisis Core so far because they are inferior versions of the games that we know and love. But Before Crisis, I'm into that. You know, we never got that released over here in the UK, so yeah, it'd be a good opportunity for that. Also, playable Advent Children. I'd be very interested to see what they do with that. So, hopefully we get more information on all of these things. Now, the live stream itself, like I say, it's on September the 5th. From what I can see on YouTube, it's at 12 PM UK time, so BST. So, I'll let you do the math from there and work out what your time is. If you just go to the YouTube channel and go to the actual live stream, the placeholder for it, it'll tell you live in X amount of days and it'll tell you what time it starts. Like I say, 12 PM BST. I'm interested. I'm up for it. I think there's a possibility that we might finally get a title for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3, and we can end all of this calling it Remake Part 3. We can end all of this debate over whether it's going to be called Reunion, whether it should be called Reunion. That can all end. And also, hopefully, we get some more chapters of The First Soldier, because A, it's always appreciated, especially with the new story that we're getting regarding Masamune. It's interesting, but the quicker we get that finished, the quicker we can get into a new episode, and more information, and Genesis maybe. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Let me know in the comments below, do you think we are going to get an announcement at this Ever Crisis event of what Remake's title is maybe? Are you going to be watching it? Do you play Ever Crisis? Do you care about Ever Crisis? Let me know in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe for future content, but more importantly than all of that, have a great day.